I saw a post that you shared. I was so emotional. I just had no idea that you were going through so much.
I will be honest, my first thoughts that day when my doctor called me and said it was positive for carcinoma, I thought, I'm not going to see my daughter walk down the aisle. I'm not going to get her to pick out a dress. I won't be there to dance with my voice. I started thinking about all the moments in my life that I get to capture for my clients, but I wasn't going to get to have maybe if I don't make it through this.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and besides of being recently married, I own the leading company in bouquet preservation in the world. It is when connecting with my clients that I felt the need to serve them and help them navigate this new and exciting journey. On this podcast, we bring you everything you need to know to plan the wedding of your dreams. We'll be featuring conversations with top wedding vendors and valuable tips and advice from real couples. Whether you're engaged or simply love, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's get started on this journey to your perfect wedding day. Welcome to the club, to Bridal Club.
Welcome back to another episode of Bridal Club. Today I have here one of my favorite photographers here in the DFW area. She is known not only for her stunning photos, but also how calm she is during wedding day, and also because of the connections that she makes through her brand and also through her couples. I am so excited to have you here today, Tracy. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Amazing. I would love for you to tell our audience who you are and how you got started.
Well, I'm Tracy Autem. So I actually have two brands, Tracy Autem Photography and Lightly Photography. And so Tracy Autem Photography is our wedding brand. And then Lightly Photography, which is actually the original company I founded 20 years ago, is now our portrait, social, and corporate brand. So we do a lot of mitzvahs, birthdays, conferences and things with that brand. But Tracy Autem Photography has really become our wedding brand.
So when did you start that brand?
So my wedding brand, oh God, I don't even know when I actually split off. I can't even remember. But my main brand I started in 2005. And then slowly as I grew a team, I ended up adding the second brand.
I love it. Let's talk about the connections that you have with your couples. We read a lot of reviews with your couples and they love the connections that you have with them. Being a photographer is so important to have that connection. I feel like it will definitely speak through the lens if you don't have a real connection. I would love for you to guide us through what that looks like for you.
I mean, I think that having a connection with your couples is really important. I think almost every photographer says that it is. But I think what a lot of people forget is that connection doesn't happen on the wedding day. It happens in all the months before. And it doesn't start the day you show up with your camera. It starts the day they send an inquiry, and it starts the first time you text them or talk with them. And so we really try to create an atmosphere where our couples feel comfortable by giving them confidence throughout the entire process. Because I'm a pretty I lack confidence sometimes. I know I exude confidence, but I think a lot of people we all put on a good mask and we all act like we're confident. We got our crap together. But a lot of times we're really insecure. We worry about not feeling good. We're not looking good in front of the camera, or pretty much in anything that we do. We just are always worried. And couples aren't any different. They're worried their wedding day is not going to go smoothly. They're worried they're not going to get all the pictures they want. They're worried they're going to have forgot about something. They're worried they're going to look awkward and their hands are going to look funny. And so you have to start breaking down that worry well in advance. It's not about just the day of telling someone where to put their hands, how to stand and how to smile and what to do or give them an action. It's about giving them confidence throughout the whole process so that worry starts to just diminish. So then when the day comes, they feel confident and they know that you can do what they expect and they don't have to think about it. They can be more present. They can be in the moment, which is going to create them looking so much more comfortable in front of the camera. Because our head's what gets in the way.
That's so true.
It's not our bodies.
Yes.
It's our heads.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
It's so true. And it's crazy to learn that from you because you do look super confident all the time. I mean, almost not intimidating, but almost like, oh my gosh, she's so confident. I'm not. You know what I mean? Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. No, I'm a very insecure person. I'm always super concerned about everything. I'm very in my head. But because I'm like that, I think I'm very vulnerable and open about it, which I think is why I'm able to come across as confident.
Yes.
Because I'm never afraid to admit when I feel uncomfortable or when something's hard.
Yeah.
Because when you can kind of just say it releases it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we try to help our couples do that too.
We had a WIPA retreat last week and I shared that. It's exactly, I was like, I don't like being in front of the camera, and I'm the marketing director, right? I dread going to the events. No offense to anybody. That's the way I am for like a whole month. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just don't want it to be here. I just don't want it. And then it goes so well, and I'm like, I'm so happy that I did that. And then I'll have a huge headache because it was like a lot, you know what I mean? But it's just the way I am. And they were very shocked. They were like, well, I thought you were like very confident and, that you love being around people. I'm like, no, I'm very introvert.
Yeah, we kind of like compartmentalize a lot of those things, and I think couples do the same thing.
Interesting.
And so we all need to be given permission, I think, sometimes to be awkward, to be uncomfortable, to not feel like we fit in. And clients need that, just like we all do. And so I think I like approach photography from a very psychological standpoint.
I love it though.
Like very mental, which I think is different than some people.
Yeah.
I think I have a love for like how the mind works. And I know that our brain is our biggest stumbling block in life, like our own thoughts. So that's really just how I try to approach everything.
I love it. And then it gets me to the next question. Engagement photography or engagement sessions. I didn't personally have one. My sister did. A lot of people do. A lot of people don't think they're necessary. Why do you think they are necessary, and why do you recommend them?
So they are a great like trial run for the day, of course. And I think a lot of people want like save the date photos, or they want even just to print or share at their wedding. But it really does come down to like already getting these awkward thoughts out of your mind. Because this is the thing. You can look at any photographer's Instagram and there's beautiful pictures. I mean, there's just so many amazingly talented photographers everywhere.
Yeah.
And so really no matter who you've selected for your wedding photographer, you can look at their Instagram and go, oh my God, these are gorgeous. I love their work. It's so pretty. But will I look that good? Will I be Instagram worthy? Will I be able to be on this feed? Like that is how people's minds work. No, it doesn't matter how gorgeous you are. The most beautiful clients still have come to me and just felt insecure. And I look at them and think, how is this possible? You're so pretty and you're so cute. And you guys are amazing together in front of the camera. But to them, inside their minds, they're not. And so that engagement session allows you to not only practice, but then to see yourself in those photos, to see that what you've hired the person for is now you in those pictures. It's like that couple laughing and looking cute and looking like so authentically them is now you.
Yeah.
Now it's the way your fiance smirks at you and the way you light up when you see him or the way you giggle. Like it's you. It's not these other people. And so you start feeling a lot better. And it allows you once again on the wedding day to like let go of all of that stress and just be present. Because when you're present, you're going to get a lot better wedding photos.
100%.
It's not a photo shoot, it's a wedding day.
Yes.
You should be able to enjoy it and not be thinking about photography.
And I feel like it probably also helps as an icebreaker with you.
I love spending time with my couples. And like, I think that we build a lot of relationship through engagement session. Like we talk about anything and everything from vacations to dogs to favorite places to eat, like all the stuff. And also about how weird it is to be in front of the camera.
I love that you keep saying that because it's so true. And if you guys are engaged, and you'll have that feeling as well. But it's so true. Like everybody has those feelings and those thoughts. And
we're not all professional models. Like,
yes. Even if they are, I feel like a lot of people are that way too.
And what's funny too is the couples that tell me they're the worst are sometimes like the best.
Oh my God.
Like, he's so bad in front of the camera. And I'll be like, he was our rock star. Your fiance is amazing. And he's really good in front of the camera. He just had the wrong person photographing it before to let him be goofy and silly and be himself. Like you have to give people permission to be themselves.
Yeah. Awesome. So we spoke about WIPA, which is Wedding Industry Professional Association. That is actually how I met you.
Yep.
You were the president.
I was.
Yes. Tell me more about that journey.
I've done a lot of different organizations over the years. So like being in business 20 years, I quickly kind of, like I said, I'm a little awkward and I feel like super insecure. And so I got in a lot of rooms and I was doing a lot of networking and meeting other wedding professionals. But I always felt like, oh, I'm too young. Oh, I'm not experienced enough. Oh, I don't know enough people. And so I kind of just pushed myself into leadership because I was like, if I'm going to get to know people and people are going to know me and people are not going to just like judge me and think of me as like not experienced, I need to like get experience.
Yeah.
And one of those ways is to get involved. And so I just jumped in heads first and served on my first board. And I did that for 10 years. That was the Professional Wedding Guild of Fort Worth. And I was like almost every role you could be on that board except for treasurer, because I never want to touch that money from an organization. I just don't like doing my own accounting, so I definitely don't want to do somebody else's. And then during COVID, I got reached out to about possibly joining the WIPA board because they had a space actually in communications. So I did your role when I first joined WIPA. And I said yes. And from there, I found myself as VP and president before I knew it.
That's crazy.
But what I loved about WIPA that's a little bit different is that I do feel, because it's a national organization, it has a lot of structure, but it also has a lot of community that goes beyond the local area. And I think a lot of wedding vendors get hyper focused on like their specific space.
Okay.
And so I like WIPA that it really allows you to open up and look at the entire wedding industry and grow beyond just like your local network.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that are coming to next week's events from.
I'm so excited.
I know we are too. So being on the board, it was very eye opening to me. I remember when I joined as a member, not on the board, but as a member. The very first experience I had with you was when the tornado hit. Was there a tornado?
Yes, there was.
Yes.
It was like gale force winds, tornado-like winds.
Yes. So originally, the event was at the Arboretum outside. I couldn't even get out of my driveway because there was a huge tree that had fallen.
Yes.
And I remember emailing you, like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. I'm so sorry. But I remember because of that tree that fell, I was late. And I remember going in, and you would have never thought that there was a natural disaster going on in Dallas because everything was so put together in a total different location across the city, and everybody was so calm. You were on the mic, and you were so calm. How do you explain that?
That day was kind of a whirlwind, honestly, and it's probably like the proudest moment of my presidency. Honestly, all of my years in leadership, because that morning when we had the unexpected storm, because it was like under 20% chance, and as a photographer, if it's under 30%, I can't even worry about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's under 20%. It ain't gonna rain tomorrow. And then it didn't just rain; it was like the winds did disrupt the tent to the point that it was not usable. And so it was like 6 a.m. in Jordan. My past president was on site because he lived nearby. So he ran up there and he was like, Tracy, this tent is not usable. What are we going to do? And everyone was telling me to cancel the event.
Something that I want you to know is that as weddings, for these events, you prepare days before. Yes.
Flowers were on site installing. Catering was on site. DJ was on site. Rentals were, everything was already on site waiting to install, but there was nowhere to install. And so I was like, well, I'm going to call some venues before we decide to cancel. And so because of my networking and because of my relationships I built in the industry, I had people's numbers in my cell phone that I could call at like 7 a.m. and say, hey, is there any way that we can have our event at your venue today?
In the morning. What time was it?
7 a.m.
Yeah, but the
day that was supposed to be at 10.
Yes.
And so we had to postpone. I think we started at like 11:30 or 12, but we were able to secure a venue, get all of the vendors over there and starting to install at 8 a.m. And it was truly a miraculous thing. We were at the Mason that day instead of the Arboretum.
It was stunning.
The design worked flawlessly in there as well. Kyle at the Mason was so accommodating. All of the vendors were such great team players. The Arboretum was so accommodating and understanding, but like we had to go on, just like in all events, like the show must go on.
Right.
But that day was one of those days where I just couldn't even believe I pulled it off. Like I didn't even know how I don't know how it was possible, except that as a community, like we care and we get together and get things done. Just like we do for clients, we are relentless people and we will overcome whatever you throw at us.
Yes. And I specifically wanted to mention this event because I mean I experienced it from a guest perspective who was not involved whatsoever on anything, but I was like, holy crap, here I am like trying to cancel because I have a tree that fell on my driveway, and these people have been working their butts off, throughout the whole morning.
I laying silverware. We were all got in there as a team that day. Like it took a team.
It really truly was an eye opening to me, big time. As a director on the board, when it comes to events, I feel like it's not only a side hustle or like a part-time job. I feel like it's a full-time job. I know how hard Paula, our president, is working. So I can only imagine how many hours to put into that event. So that goes to show you guys that as a photographer, as she said, you can don't throw anything at her, honestly. But if you did or something were to happen,
we can handle a lot.
Yeah.
20 years experience. It's funny. Sometimes I realize I know a lot more about other areas of the wedding industry than I realized. And being president showed me that I did know a lot more than I give myself credit for.
A lot of our listeners are not only getting married, they're actually a lot of wedding vendors or aspiring to become a wedding vendor. What would you say from your experience, a big lesson that you've learned as an entrepreneur?
I think especially in like a very creative driven industry, because most wedding vendors are creative. So we often forget to get all of the systems in place. So we have to kind of dig into our analytical side, even if it's really small, and kind of figure out how to make sure we have systems in place because I think everyone is able to make beautiful things. That's how we're doing this. We're all inspired. We all see things uniquely. But with all of that, we still need to be getting contracts together timely, communicating timely, making clients feel heard and seen. I learned early on through some of my own mistakes because I'm such a creative person. Like I have a BFA in photography. My life goal was not to be this, but to be like an art professor and like show in galleries and show my photography through a very different lens. But as I grew into this, I realized that the only way to do this successfully is to let the analytical part of me have a little bit more of a louder voice than I'm used to letting it have. And through that, it's allowed me, I think, to make our clients feel very cared for, very heard, consistently communicated with. Also vendors, because vendors also just, there are some analytical people in our industry, especially some planners that get a little upset when they don't get their responses quickly. And so systems, they're so difficult.
I agree. I agree. And I actually was listening to a podcast yesterday and it said, build your brand whenever you're building from scratch as if you're building $1 million brand. Like everything in place, because whenever you do grow super fast, if you don't have everything in place, it's so darn hard.
So hard.
Yes. To make sure that you're very organized and you're not losing track of anything. And if you're in the wedding industry, the last thing you want to do is stress out your couple. You definitely don't want to do that.
Also, I think sometimes we feel like we need to do everything. And so we also need to realize that that analytical part's really small. It's okay to get help.
Yes.
Hire someone to do your bookkeeping. Hire someone to come in and help you with your workflows and have someone help you. You don't have to have a permanent employee. It can be a VA. It can be like a one-off situation where you hire someone just to assist you in a specific point. But you have to figure out what you need help with. It doesn't mean it doesn't need to be done.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, of course, you can wear all the hats when you're first starting. Like
You almost have to.
You have to. You absolutely have to. But then admitting that you're not good or not great at everything is absolutely not only okay, it's better because then you will hire a professional to do it. I went to school for business, and even then, I don't even remember half of my courses on accounting because I just didn't like them.
I pay somebody else to do all my bookkeeping and give me monthly reports that tell me all the things I need to know.
Exactly.
I know how to read those reports.
Yes,
but I don't want to make those reports.
Exactly. So you can make the decisions based on those analytics.
Yes.
I love it. I am just so honored that you're here today because I remember at the last event, I don't think I had introduced myself before to you. I always knew who you were. I saw a post that you shared on your socials and I was so emotional because I just had no idea that you were going through so much. And again, pulling events like that and with so much grace. When I invited you to be on the podcast, I told you that I would have loved or would love to for you to share your story because I think it would help everybody. And I am again so honored that you're here to share your story. Thank you so much because I'm just so excited for people to learn how to navigate when something like that happens.
Friendships.
Yes. So would you be okay sharing?
Oh, of course, I'm happy to share. I'm like a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer and then diagnosed with ovarian cancer afterwards, in addition. I was told I had cancer 3 days before our first WIPA meeting of the year, like our January board retreat. So when I was supposed to be moving into my residency and starting to lead a group of my peers, I was told I had cancer like 4 or 5 days before. And so I didn't really know what I was going to do at that point. Like I was in a whirlwind trying to accept that I had cancer, but also figure out how I'm going to continue my business, continue my life, and also lead other professionals. I had all the emotions because I think it's definitely changed how I look at what I do. I will be honest that my first thoughts that day when my doctor called me and said it was positive for carcinoma, I thought, I'm not going to see my daughter walk down the aisle. I'm not going to get her to pick out a dress. I won't be there to dance with my boys. I started thinking about all the moments in my life that I get to capture for my clients that I wasn't going to get to have maybe if I don't make it through this. I was just in a really scary place because the word cancer is just a word no one wants spoken over them or anyone you love. It's like you go through, it's like this battery of emotions every day from like anger to sadness to fear to I'm going to beat this. And it all happens from second to second. It's the weirdest place to live in. But I got very fortunate. Like I didn't even have insurance when I got, oh my gosh, diagnosed. but I was able to call my insurance provider that my team, because my team had insurance, but I didn't.
Oh yeah, that always happens.
That's what we do as business owners. We put everyone first before ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I did not have insurance, but I was able to call and get insurance, which was a miracle because you don't just randomly get insurance after insurance windows are closed. I found an amazing doctor. And so in March, I had a radical hysterectomy, which means they take everything. They take your ovaries, they take all the things, and also a lot of surrounding lymph nodes. And so with that, I woke up like totally in menopause when I hadn't even really been in perimenopause yet. I woke up feeling very different, but feeling very relieved because during surgery is when they confirmed I actually had ovarian cancer as well. Because until then, they weren't sure. And so during surgery, they looked under the microscope and they're like, yes, your ovary is positive for ovarian cancer cells. And so now the cervical cancer diagnosis, I could have died from ovarian cancer because it's such a much heavier cancer to carry and has a much higher mortality rate. And so I was actually had the surgery before the ovarian cancer had even become stage 1. It was like pre-stage 1. They call it pre-cancerous, but the cells were positive for carcinoma. There wasn't enough of them to light up like on a PET scan yet. So my doctor explains it. He said, you have 2 patients in the last 2 years with that, and I'm one of them. It's not very common to get ovarian cancer that early. And so I didn't know they were going to have to take all my lymph nodes. I didn't know some of the things. Like after surgery, it was a lot to handle.
Yeah.
And all this while, I'm running a business. I'm being a mom. I'm trying to help with WIPA. I'm trying to keep a good face on social media so my brides and my other couples and clients aren't scared that their weddings aren't going to be covered. Like it's so much at once.
Yeah.
And then just hoping I'm going to be okay for my kids.
Which is honestly above the rest. Like your family comes first, and when you are running a business, it's always so easy to put it first. And
our business has become a baby. It becomes almost too important sometimes. And if anything, how I live now is very different than pre-cancer. Like there's before cancer and after cancer in my life. Like since I had cancer, like I missed one of my son's basketball games last season. That would never have happened before cancer.
Wow.
Like I mark off time on my schedule to make sure I'm home to run my kids places. I used to put my kids on the bus in the morning for ease. Now I happily drive them to school so that I can have my mornings with my kids.
Isn't that crazy how obviously something like that changed your perspective of life and how you're present for your own family?
It really has. We've traveled more this year because I love to travel.
Yeah.
And even if it's just simple things like visiting my best friend in California and staying at her house with my kids, her kids are all playing and swimming and we're just together. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just needs to be meaningful. Like every moment has become just very much more precious. And it translates to also how I run my business. I have clear boundaries, but I think am giving myself to my clients might be more raw way, but also with like a very strong boundary. So it's weird. It's like I'm giving more, but I'm also giving less at the same time. Because I'm putting myself a little bit more first now than I didn't used to do.
Sometimes we think that we are neglecting something else. And in reality, if we put ourselves first, then we are able to take care of others better as well. So it's kind of like the airplane when you're supposed to put your oxygen mask first before anybody else's, and it makes so much sense. I remember seeing your post, and I was like, it kind of shook me because I was also working 80+ hours per week, and my family moved here from Mexico, and they're here. Like my siblings are here, my mom is here, and months would go by, months, and I would not see them. And my mom would try to go to lunch. I'll be like, no, mom, I'm so busy. But then months would go by. And I specifically remember seeing your post. I'm like, that is just not how I want to live. Because what happens if I do die tomorrow? You never know. It was a very eye-opening experience for me. And I'm just so honored that you're here sharing your story because I think can impact a lot of lives too.
Well, at the end of life, do I want to be known as a photographer or do I want to be known as Tracy? And the truth is I am a photographer. That is just such a small piece of me. I think prior to cancer, I put a little too much emphasis on my career and not an emphasis on just who I am. What makes me feel happy and joyful. Yeah. I know that I'm living a better life today than I was before. I'm thankful for my cancer, which is the weirdest thing to say, but I am because I think it's made my life better. My husband's a lot happier. My kids are happier. My friendships are better. Everything is just different. And I'm also not afraid to say no anymore. So like, I'm not president of WIPA this year, and I was planning on doing 2-year term. But after a lot of like seeking with my therapist, we decided I needed to step back from some of my responsibilities to give myself permission to put these boundaries in place. Because with how much was on my plate, I was never going to put boundaries in place. And honestly, I kept being WIPA president during my cancer so that I wouldn't have to deal with it, because it was a lot easier to be like, I'm fine, and keep going, because that's what we do, especially as women.
Yes.
Everything's fine.
Right.
I'm great.
Yeah.
Look at my armor. On the inside, I was falling apart. And I hit a breaking point in fall that year that I was president. And it's about 7-8 months after my cancer that I like just had a day where I broke. And my therapist said, we need to list out everything you're doing. We need to figure out what we can get off your plate so that you think you have enough time to take care of yourself. You have enough time, but you don't think you do, because you're just loading up your platter with all this other stuff. So let's take some things off. And by that, we're going to create some space for Tracy. And so I did the hardest thing. I went to call Jordan and say, I'm not going to be president next year. And call people like Paula and say, do you want to be president next year? But I had to make some other decisions in my business as well. And I had to accept that I don't need to be the person at every job. Yes. It's okay. It's actually, my employees are so amazingly talented. Why am I not letting them be there?
Exactly. It's the beautiful thing about having a team.
It is. But sometimes we still think, oh, but it needs to be me.
Yes.
But my girls are amazing and so talented, and everyone in the industry loves them. So I got really good at letting them do all the corporate and social events. I used to think it needed to be me.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
So, but I needed to be given permission by my therapist, which is a funny thing. So I tell people, like, please go to therapy. You need someone that's not like related to you to tell you, like, call you on your shit sometimes and be like, make space for you.
Yes, I agree. And it's funny because I used to work every single Saturday, like 8 to 12 hours. And now I do to a degree, but I also give myself some time for myself, like whatever I want to do, see my family. My family has been a priority to me this year, big time. And at the end of the day, I feel like when I come to work, I'm getting things done. The quality of my work, even though the hours are less, has not changed. In fact, I feel like it has improved.
Well, when we take care of ourselves, we're able to give what we do allocate for other people better. Like, I honestly think that when I show up to a wedding today, I am giving the clients a much better version of Tracy. I am rested. I am excited. I feel like I had a great time with my family. So no part of me is like, oh, I'm going to be home today. So I already prioritized my family throughout the week. Like, I'm excited to be there, but also I have this deep perspective of how important these heirloom legacy type moments I'm about to witness, capture, and stories mean, because one day their mom may not be there, their grandma may not be there. One day they may be going through a hard spot with their marriage, and these photos are going to help anchor them back to how they felt this day. My photos are anchors, and I really see them as that now, because I realized how many anchor moments were ahead of me I didn't want to miss. And I know that this is an anchor moment for my clients.
I love that so much, Tracy.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So I think I give them a better Tracy today.
I love it. I would love for you guys to go to Trace's Instagrams and check out her work. Her work, as I said, is absolutely stunning. And you can see the connection just through your lens. Thank you again so much for being here today. How can people connect with you and hire you to shoot their wedding?
Well, they can reach out on Instagram, of course. So we're at Tracy Autem Photography on Instagram. We're also on TikTok at Tracy Autem. On TikTok, I do a lot more talking to the camera and like tips and tricks for photographers and for clients. I do a lot of stuff for clients. So even if you don't want to be my client, that's a great place to go if you just want resources as a bride or a groom for like how to prepare for photography, because I put a lot of that out there. I just like to help people. And then you can just reach out. We'll schedule a quick call. Even if you hire one of my employees, you still get to have a call with me, because I think it's important that even our brides and grooms that book with Amanda and Jennifer on my team still get to feel they have a connection to me. Because even though I may not be the one with the camera on their day, I still like to know them. We'll have a call and we'll go from there and figure out if we're a good fit. So if we're not, I let you know that too. Because I just think that everyone needs to find the right person.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
totally.
There's so many good people.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for everything today. This was amazing. It's one of my favorite for sure.
Oh, good. It was nice to get to chat with you.
Learn about all things wedding straight from the experts. Be sure to like and subscribe to Bridal Club.